Learning to meditate. I don't think you can learn to meditate. I don't think meditation is a technique. I don't even think it's a practice. I think meditation is something you stumble across by accident. And for me, that occurred probably in 1998, a year prior to the awakening. I had a book. Yeah, I owned a book. Well, I just recently purchased the book called The Course in Miracles, very well-known book. And in the back of the book, there are these lessons that you do every day for a year. I didn't do them all. I only did a few. I did a few, understood them deeply and profoundly. And a year after that, I had the awakening anyway. But the first meditation, not meditation, the first, lessons. Yeah, the first lesson was whatever you see, whatever has no meaning, something like that. So I can't remember exactly. And I remember it had quite a profound effect on me because it made me realize that my perception of things is not the meaning. And no one had ever pointed that out to me before. No one had ever said, Steve, the way you perceive things isn't actually the meaning. It's an acquired meaning. It's just your personal experience. It's your thought. But whatever that is in relation to what you see bears no meaning. So that had a really profound effect on me, and so much so that I immediately began meditating. It unlocked by accident meditation, because I was able to then, go for a walk, for instance. I remember going for a walk and just observing my perception. And I'd never done that before. It was always my perception doing something. It was always the perception of me going, okay, how do I meditate? It was always the perception of me going, okay, what's the best book? What's the best technique for anything, you know? And then suddenly I was kind of witnessing that. I was realizing that my perception isn't meaning. And my perception cannot obtain meaning because my perception cannot transcend personal experience because it's born of personal experience. So that was how I found meditation. And that was a year before 1999, whereby I had a spontaneous awakening. So that was it. That gave me this opening to see activity. So from this opening to see activity, it was this opening that itself became the root source of my inquiry, rather than trying to get something, rather than trying to seek something. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? So to me, that's meditation or contemplation, and it's not something you do. It's not something you practice, and it's no one doing it. I just think the word meditation can mean all sorts of things, and I think the mind can do something with it. I think the mind can do something with anything. You know, you look at Buddhism and you look at things like compassion, and you've got people trying to practice compassion. And from a perceptual point of view, you can't practice compassion. You can try, you can endeavor, but compassion is when you actually drop the idea of it and actually see from it. And again, it's like meditation. It's something that you accidentally find, you know. And yeah, that's kind of how that is. So meditation, contemplation is seeing things as they are from what is. I think one good example was, you know, in regards to what would challenge people's inquiry was Ramana Maharshi. When a person would ask him a question, he would say, who is asking the question? You know, it's the same principle. What is behind all of this? What is behind your perception of needing an answer? What is behind your perception of needing something? You know, what is it about your question that needs something outside of yourself, or sees who wants something that's other than itself? When it says who is asking the question, is that unified field of reality? Is that is that root source of intelligence is consciousness itself. Interesting, isn't it? So we can use the word meditation, inquiry, all of those things, but there is no one doing it. And the whole thing about it is it's all pointing at consciousness being the root source. And that is no one. That is no one. Anyway, there we are.